These have been the best years of my career.
Oh no, this is new.
And I know that every one of you give me everything you had.
While Jake Peralta is the unofficial protagonist of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Raymond Holt is the character who holds the show and the squad together. He is the central figure in the dynamic of the squad, their leader, and the one who initially brought them all closer when he became commanding officer of the precinct, pushing them all to become their best selves, while also instilling a sense of family and camaraderie within the team. If we look closely at Holt's squad, we can see how every member of his team reflects an aspect of his personality, illustrating not only the many facets to Holt's characterization, but also showing how every member of his team is vital to him and to the series. So, let's take a look at Captain Raymond Holt and see how he is reflected in his squad.
Look, you know my history. You know how important this is to me. This precinct is doing fine, but I want to make it the best one in Brooklyn. And I need your help. Absolutely, sir. Where do we start?
As the sergeant, and now lieutenant of the 9-9, Terry is the co-leader of the squad, and he reflects Holt's authority as well as his parental inclinations towards the team. If Holt is the 9-9's Papa Bear, then Terry is their mother hen.
I could learn something from you. You have every right to feel like, what was it you said this morning?
Proud mama hen, sir.
Proud mama hen.
Together, Holt and Terry embody the stereotypical gender roles of parents. Holt is the authoritative father, overseeing his unruly children and punishing them when need be, while Terry is the hands-on mother, looking out for his children's best interests, defending them to Holt, and using his influence to sway Holt when the children get out of hand. Even though Holt initially tries to maintain a professional relationship with his subordinates, it quickly becomes apparent that he cares much more than the average boss, and this level of care is both reflected in and encouraged by Terry, who has thought of the squad as his children for years.
I've been so worried about my own kids, I forgot about my stupid grown-up kids.
Together, Holt and Terry work to parent and guide the 9-9, and they are shown to care for and trust one another. They are often shown talking about the squad and coming up with ways to improve work ethic as well as boosting morale. The squad understands this dynamic, and Holt is often viewed in a very authoritative and paternal light by the team.
I love you, Dapton. Dapton. It's a cool new way of saying captain.
While Terry is seen as the benevolent authority figure and the one to turn to when they're in trouble.
I'm freaking out about my gift that's not technically a gift.
Somehow that doesn't surprise me.
Being a black police officer, Terry also partially reflects Holt's struggle within the NYPD. While Terry is a straight man, he shares Holt's color and therefore can understand and appreciate the obstacles Holt has faced in the past and even continues to face in the present. Terry is younger than Holt and so grew up in a slightly more progressive generation, but he also experiences the prejudice and racism which Holt has experienced his whole career, illustrated in the episode Moo Moo, when Terry is arrested by a white police officer when walking alone on the street where he lives. Holt recognizes and empathizes with the racism Terry experiences in the episode, but the generation gap between them comes out when Holt gives Terry outdated advice on how to handle the situation.
I wanted to call out every bad cop I encountered, and there were a lot. But as a black gay man, I never had a superior who was on my side. So the advice I offered you, that came from a different place, a different time.
Both men understand that certain parts of the system work against them, and together they try to work within it and help one another out when they can. Once again, emphasizing the metaphor for working parents which they embody.
Thank you for everything that you've taught me. I know you may not see yourself as my mentor, but...
Of course I do. I've been mentoring you all this time.
What?
Captain Holt is a stickler for rules and for following proper procedure, being methodical, hardworking, and also highly ambitious. All of these traits are reflected in Amy Santiago, who starts the series lamenting her lack of mentor and immediately reacting with positive praise for Captain Holt mere seconds after he introduces himself. Unlike her peers, Amy has no problem with Holt's strict regime. If anything, his pedantic ways endear him more to her, and she spends much of the early seasons looking up to the captain and desperately seeking his approval.
Lay off the captain. That man is gonna be my rabbi.
Holt is hard on Amy because he recognizes her sycophantic ways and knows that there is much more to her than just brown-nosing. While Amy spends a great deal of time and effort trying to impress Holt through speeches, expensive presents, and large gestures, Holt remains unimpressed by these over-the-top actions and instead reserves his praise for when she puts in hard work, adheres to protocol, and actually showcases traits which he admires. Holt and Amy also share similar interests and have minds which work in similar ways. In Season 1, Amy is the first person in the precinct to sense changes in Holt's mood, and she accurately guesses why he's so tense and works to resolve the problem.
I still can't read him.
No one can.
I can. He likes it.
They both tend to enjoy activities which are mocked by the other team members and thought of as boring. We see them bonding several times over the series from these shared interests, and they are both delightfully uncaring as to how their interests are seen as boring by the other team members. Holt also recognizes, identifies with, and encourages Amy's ambition.
Santiago wants to make captain one day. I know because I frequently caught her wearing my hat and looking into a mirror.
Dismissed.
Holt had similar ambitions to Amy and understands the struggle she goes through due to her gender and ethnicity. He encourages her ambitions and even intervenes when he feels she is underestimating herself or passing over opportunities.
Oh no, this isn't a powwow, it's a haranguing.
You bet it is. Stop trying to tank this election. You know damn well you'd make a great union rep.
Through his belief in her, Holt helps Amy to grow and become stronger within herself. He becomes the very mentor she always hoped he would be, and in doing so, they become close and learn from one another, growing into better people because of this.
I love the 9-9, and the main reason why is you.
Not Jake.
Yes, clearly it's mostly Jake, but it's also you, and the standard that you set for us with your unwavering morals.
At first glance, there seem to be few similarities between Boyle and Holt, and indeed, they are probably the least close of all Holt's interpersonal relationships. Upon closer examination, it becomes apparent that they do share traits, and one of the biggest traits they share is their weird love for specific culture that no one else seems to be interested in. Boyle's interest lies in bizarre food, while Holt's lies in obscure music. Because of this, it's shown that the captain trusts Boyle's advice and opinions when it comes to food and culture.
According to Charles's email blast, it's actually number 8.
Captain reads my blast.
Of course, it's the only one that measures mouthfeel.
What, are you kidding right now?
In Season 2, Holt turns to Boyle when he wants to make his husband an impressive breakfast for their anniversary, showing how Boyle's love and knowledge of food has not gone unnoticed by the captain. Despite an initial clash, Holt ends up reading Boyle's food blog and learning from it, and the experience once again demonstrates how Boyle is important to the captain and how the captain does value his opinion.
After our disagreement yesterday, I went online to read your culinary blogs and scoff. To my dismay, I actually learned something about how food tells a story.
As someone who has been frequently mocked by the other members of the squad for his obscure interests, Holt can better appreciate Boyle's interests and bond with him because of this. Boyle also shares Holt's selflessness and willingness to put himself on the line for his team. Both Holt and Boyle have shown to put themselves in danger for members of the squad, and they are both incredibly loyal to their teammates. In Season 1, Boyle throws himself in front of Rosa to prevent her from being shot, and Holt is his biggest champion in the aftermath.
That man took a bullet for this precinct. He's a guy who's always looking for love and friendship, and he needs it now more than ever. But you all turned your backs on him.
In later episodes, Boyle is seen giving the captain advice and reaffirming how much he respects and looks up to the captain, showing that, while their relationship may be quieter and less obviously close than some of Holt's other relationships, it is still an important one for both characters.
I can be dynamic. Exclamation point.
Oh, Diaz and I have that kind of easy chemistry where we finish each other's
Sentences.
Please, don't interrupt me.
Captain Holt is initially a very reserved and closed-off character, and Rosa Diaz reflects this aspect of his personality. Both characters are uncomfortable with public displays of emotion, have a very blunt and abrupt way of interacting with people, and are secretly much more emotional than they let on. Holt and Rosa understand and identify with each other's stoicism, and their interactions are often quite comfortable because of this. Ironically, This stoicism and reluctance to reveal personal information leads to Rosa and Holt forming a surprisingly deep bond. When Rosa starts dating Holt's nephew, both she and Holt are initially uncomfortable with discussing the relationship and hesitant to share anything with one another.
But I don't want to talk to you about it.
Perfect, because I'm not comfortable knowing about it.
Eventually, they are forced to interact much more closely as their respective partners push for them to spend more time together, and because of their shared stoicism, Rosa ends up opening up to Holt when she believes herself to be pregnant, trusting in Holt because she knows he is so similar to her and therefore will keep her secret without making a big fuss over it. Despite the awkwardness of the situation, Holt is able to help Rosa through it, and the two realize that being close is not the worst thing in the world.
Maybe mixing our personal and professional lives isn't as disgusting as it sounds.
Yes, I agree. And I'm glad I could help.
Because her demeanor and desire for privacy are so similar to Holt's, Holt ends up with a great respect for Rosa, trusting her instincts, recognizing her leadership qualities, and gently pushing her to be a better version of herself, as well as asking for her advice on many occasions. In return, Rosa has a deep respect for Holt and often seeks him out for support, and because they are so similar and trust one another so deeply due to these similarities, they are able to express emotions with one another that they can't with other members of the squad.
Wait, are you crying?
Yes. Thank you for acknowledging my feelings.
Thank you for acknowledging mine.
We're both great at this.
Rosa is also the only other member of the squad who is part of the LGBT community, and this revelation brings her closer to Holt as well as reflecting another aspect of him. While Rosa is bisexual as opposed to gay, the captain is proud of her when she comes out and eager to meet her partner. His acceptance and support of her is shown to be important to Rosa, and it's revealed that she cares deeply about what he thinks of her.
Every time someone steps up and says who they are, the world becomes a better, more interesting place. So, thank you.
In recognizing the stoicism, pragmatism, and lack of desire to share personal details with one another, Rosa and Holt actually managed to form a deeply emotional and open bond, which is shown to be important to and benefit both of them greatly.
I did not follow you to PR to watch you quit. I followed you because you're great and because you make everything you touch better. And I figured PR would be the easiest path to launching my reality show, Linetti Set Go.
I thought your reality show was to be called Gina in a Bottle.
Gina and Holt make a very odd pairing, but Gina is a representation of the unexpected side of Holt, the more human side which people don't initially see. Just like Gina herself tends to be surprising and have hidden depths which few people take the time to recognize, she brings out Holt's unexpected and surprising side, and the two become very close because of this. More than anyone, Holt recognizes Gina's potential, knowing to look beneath the surface for the hidden facets, because he too has these hidden depths.
Use Gina. She's my assistant, and she has something to offer. Trust me.
While the captain is often authoritative and in control with the other squad members, even as he grows closer to them, with Gina, he is able to be more whimsical and indulge a side of himself which doesn't often come out. Gina reads the captain very well and is able to identify the more human and less in control side of him, such as when she recognizes his addiction to Quasi cupcakes.
I feel that the reason I was so vulnerable to this game was because technology has evolved at a fast
Yeah,
rate.
I don't know. I think it's just bright and stupid and fun.
So fun.
She also helps to keep Holt focused and in touch with the times, such as when she points out how the organization he formed for black gay officers has done exactly what he wanted it to and given a young officer opposing him for presidency the opportunities Holt himself never had.
I thought you created Agla Macapa or whatever so people like him wouldn't have to go through what you went through. Isn't it a good thing that Brian Jensen didn't have to struggle for 25 years just to get up on this stage?
Gina's relationship with Holt is vital to Holt's development. Through his friendship with Gina, he is able to become more relaxed and open to ideas he may not have previously entertained. They genuinely enjoy one another's company and are often seen propping one another up and encouraging each other. Gina is so loyal to Holt that she ends up following him to public relations when he is transferred out of the 9-9 at the end of season 2.
Sir! I'm coming with you.
Thank you, Gina.
The two are actually very similar and are even shown to fall under the same personality profile from Gina's psychology class. This odd, subversive relationship brings out hidden depths in both characters, and they reflect these nuances and facets to one another through their quirky but strong friendship.
Hey, Captain. How much does it cost to raise a sunken ship?
Answer: less than a casino makes in a year, hopefully.
Yes, even the two worst detectives in the 9-9 reflect Holt. Hitchcock and Scully are the inverses of Holt, showing what he could have become had he not been so driven or ambitious. Hitchcock and Scully are a similar age to Holt and would have come up through the ranks at a similar time to him. Flashback episodes reveal that they were good detectives at one point and even had enough compassion in them to break the rules in order to help out a witness whom their captain screwed over, a move that Holt definitely would have made had he been at liberty to. The two are even shown to have had mild ambition back in the day, but somewhere down the track, both Hitchcock and Scully lost whatever ambition they had and became content with doing the bare minimum, and therefore, they are a cautionary tale of what can happen when one gets too complacent or stops caring about their job. Despite their laziness, both are shown to be loyal to Holt and to the squad, proving again how vital every member of the team is and how all of them support and respect Captain Holt.
I still wish I could have got you back in time.
Why do you care so much about this?
I don't know. It's your dream. And, you changed my life. Maybe you want to be a better man or whatever.
Thank you for trying.
Jake Peralta is Holt's most significant relationship, and this is because Jake reflects Holt's most passionate sides, his love for the job, the joy he derives from solving cases, and the way he acts as a central figure for the squad. First and foremost, Jake reflects Holt's love of the job. More than any of the other characters, both Jake and Holt genuinely love being detectives and get a real thrill from their careers.
A teabag in his victim's mouth.
Yeah, how cool. I mean, awful is that?
Very cool. I mean, awful.
Both characters have a cowboy side to them, which comes out when working cases, and they both love putting bad guys behind bars. We see them working together numerous times to solve cases, getting very involved in the process and feeding off one another's excitement. When both are quarantined with the mumps, they even use their quarantine time to work a cold case, despite them getting progressively sicker.
Yeah, I should probably lie down. Here we go. Case!
Jake also reflects Holt's competitive side, a trait they both share with Amy and Rosa, but seem to bring out most in one another. Because they are both so clever and good at solving riddles, we see that going up against one another fuels them and makes them want to best the other, shown through their increasingly ridiculous and intense Halloween heists.
I'm gonna get that crown back.
Wait, what?
Most significantly, Jake reflects Holt's natural leadership and ability to bring people together. Jake is a natural people person, and he helps to make Holt more open and receptive to human interaction, while Holt pushes Jake to be a better detective and, by extension, a better team member and a better leader.
You want to be a hero? You want to actually get something done? Your friends and colleagues right here are struggling and they need you.
I did everything I could. I tried to distract me and Charles all day long, and it didn't work.
They don't need to be distracted. They need someone to help them face their fears and deal with the reality of the situation.
Together, Jake and Holt help to bring the squad closer. Jake by maintaining close interpersonal relationships with the team, and Holt by being a strong leader. The two also help each other, bringing out sides to the other which help them grow into better people as they learn from one another. More than any other team member, Jake helps Holt to open up, to become more in touch with his emotions and grow as a person, and Holt is definitely the person who exerts the greatest influence over Jake, becoming the father figure Jake always longed for.
So, what's the plan, son?
Well, Dad.
Both characters benefit from their mutual love and respect for one another and become better people because of it.
I respect the hell out of each and every one of you. 9-9.
9-9.
Captain Holt is the glue that holds the 9-9 together. but it is because of his team and the way they reflect, love and support him that he is able to be that glue. Every member of his team shares a bond with him and helps him grow as a character, and none of them would have grown or evolved as much as they do without him, forming a beautiful dynamic which goes a long way in explaining the appeal of the characters and the series as a whole.